Now we'll study some CET and NEET preparations regarding the first chapter, the electric charge and fields. Now that is the first chapter, electric charges and fields. Now we'll study the synopsis while solving the problems. So straight away we move on to the first problem. Okay. Now here is the first problem. The magnitude of point charge due to which the electric field 30 centimeters away has the magnitude of 2 Newton per Coulomb will be. That means they have given a charge. Due to that charge, we have a magnetic field, we have an electric field of 2 Newton per Coulomb at a distance of 30 centimeter. Then what is the magnitude of the charge? The options are 2 into 10 to the power of minus 11 Coulomb, B 3 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Coulomb, C 5 into 10 to the minus 11 Coulomb, and D 9 into 10 to the power of minus 11 Coulomb. Now it is a very simple problem. Here they have given a point charge at a distance of 30 centimeter. The electric field is given, that is 2 Newton per Coulomb. We have to find what is the magnitude of the charge. Now given is electric field 2 Newton per Coulomb and distance R is 30 centimeter. If you convert it into meter, it is 0.3 meter. You have to find the magnitude of the charge Q. Okay. So electric field E is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R square. So that is the formula we have. We know the value of E, that is 2, and 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught, it is 9 into 10 to the power of 9. We know that value. Substituting the values, and R is 0.3 square. Now 0.3 square is 0.09. Now 0.09 can be written as 9 into 10 raised to minus 2. Okay. Now 9 get cancels there. So 10 raised to 9 and 10 raised to minus 2 in the denominator moves to the numerator. It becomes 10 to the power of 11. Therefore the answer becomes Q is equal to, so 2 into 10 to the power of 11. So the magnitude of the charge Q is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of minus 11 coulombs. Like this we are solving the problems. So move on to the next problem. The answer is A, 2 into 10 to the power of minus 11 coulomb. Let me move on to the second problem. The force of repulsion between two identical positive charges when kept with a separation R in air is F. Half the gap between the two charges is filled by a dielectric constant 4. Then the new force of repulsion between those two charges becomes. So options are, so A is equal to F by 3 and B is equal to F by 2, C is equal to F by 4 and D 4F by 9. So here what they have given, two charges, identical charges are given, they are separated by a certain distance R. If air is present, then the force is F, they have given. In the next case, they are filling half of the region by another dielectric material having a dielectric constant 4. In the second case, the medium between the two charges is, half of the medium is air medium and the other half is a dielectric medium of constant 4. Then what is the new force between the two charges that we are going to study. Now for that one, we have the formula for the force F is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q square. Q1 into Q2 by R square is the general formula. Q1, Q2 are identical, therefore it is Q square by R square. It is in air medium. Now, the same formula, if there is a dielectric is present, that means if the air medium is completely filled by a medium of dielectric constant K, then the formula becomes F dash is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into K. We have an additional term here, K, or epsilon R, relative permittivity, or dielectric constant K into Q square by R square in a medium. So here, because of the presence of the medium, obviously the new force reduces. Now here we have to calculate how much it is going to reduce. Now here in the second case, half of the region is air medium and the remaining half region is a medium of dielectric constant 4. Therefore, this force is not only depending on the distance, that is r square in the denominator, it is also depending on k value in the denominator. Therefore, k and r square are variable. For that reason, let me take k inside r square term. So then it becomes root k r whole square. So because k and r both are variable, so here they are not completely replacing the air medium by another medium of dielectric constant. Half part is air medium and the remaining half is dielectric medium. For that reason, we are taking the dielectric constant inside the distance term. Therefore, it becomes root k into r whole square. So therefore, let me show that with the help of a simple diagram. Now we have the two identical charges separated by a certain distance. Now half of the distance in the second case is filled by air medium as shown by that strip, and the remaining half is filled by, and then if the half of that medium is air medium, then the distance is, we have to take root k1, where k1 is the dielectric constant of the air medium and obviously its value is 1, into r1, it is the distance. Now the second medium is a medium of dielectric constant 4. Okay, here we will take, if we take it as k2, then obviously we have that distance as root k2 into r2. Now with this clarification, we write the formula as, then the formula for the new force F dash becomes 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into q square divided by square root of k1 r1 plus square root of k2 r2 whole square. Now simply substitute the value of, now k1 is air medium, therefore its value k1 is 1, and the second medium is having a dielectric constant k2 is equal to 4. Now here r1 and r2 are the distance of the two medium, that is half of the original distance, that is r by 2. Now substituting that one, we will get root 1 in the denominator, root 1 into r by 2 plus root 4 into r by 2 whole square. Root 4 is 2, therefore 2 get cancels. Now r by 2 plus r, it becomes 3r by 2. Now squaring that one, it is 9r square divided by 4. The 4 in the denominator goes to the numerator. Therefore, the final answer becomes f dash is equal to 4 by 9 f. So therefore, for this problem, the answer is D, 4 by 9 f. Now here one care should be taken. The two mediums are introduced here. One is the air medium, another one is the dielectric medium. If another medium is introduced, then in the denominator we are going to get one more term, that is root k3 into r3. Should remember that one. Next problem. 4 into 10 raised to 10 electrons are removed from a neutral metal sphere of diameter 20 centimeter placed in air medium. The magnitude of the electric field in Newton per coulomb at a distance of 20 centimeter from its center is. The options are 5760, B 1440, C 640 and D is 0. Here they have given a metal sphere which is neutral. From that metal sphere, they are removing the electrons 4 into 10 to the power of 10. The number of electrons removed are 4 into 10 to the power of 10 number of electrons. So since electrons are removed, obviously that metal sphere becomes positively charged. Now here we have to calculate how much amount of electron charge of the electrons are removed. Now number of electrons is given 4 into 10 to the power of 10. The distance is given, it is 20 centimeter. If I write it in meter, it is 0.2 meter. Now first we have to calculate what is the total charge. What is the total positive charge acquired by the sphere by removing the electron? We know that charge of electron is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. Therefore, the equation for the charge is Q is equal to N into E formula. Now N is the number of electrons and E is the charge of one electron. Now number of electrons is given 4 into 10 to the power of 10 and charge of one electron 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19. If I multiply that one, I will get 6.4 into 10 to the power of minus 9. 10 raised to plus 10 minus 19, it is minus 9 coulomb. Now this much amount of charge is acquired by that metal sphere when the electrons are removed. That means that metal sphere gets positively charged. Therefore, we have to calculate what is the electric field because of this charge. Now the electric field is given by the formula E is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R square. Now we know the value of 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. It is 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into charge, just we have calculated 6.4 into 10 to the power of minus 9 coulomb, divided by distance 20 centimeter. If I write it in meter, it is 0.2 whole square. So 0.2 becomes 0.04. If I convert 0.04 as 4 into 10 to the power of minus 2, and after simplification I will get the electric field as 1440 Newton per coulomb. So here 10 raised to plus 9 is there and 10 raised to minus 9 get cancels, and 0.04 can be written as 4 into 10 to the power of minus 2, and after simplification we will get 1440. Therefore, B is the right answer. 1440 Newton per coulomb. Third problem. 3-point charges plus Q and minus 4 are placed at the corners ABC of an equilateral triangle of side X. The magnitude of the electric dipole moment of this system is A 2 into root 3 Qx, B 2 Qx, C 3 Qx, D 3 root 2 Q into X. Now when one can worry about, here they have given 3 charges and they are asking for a dipole moment. So for that one we will look at the diagram. We have a triangle. At the 3 corners they have given 3 charges. Now 2 charges plus Q and plus Q at A and B, and the third charge minus 4Q, it is at the vertex C as shown in that diagram. Now for a dipole we should have 2 charges. Therefore at the bottom we are having 2 equal charges, 2 plus 2 plus 2. I will replace those 2 charges by a single charge at the middle of those 2 positions by plus 4 charge. Now the distance between that 3 charges is, each charge is x. So I will replace that 2 charges plus q by a single charge plus 4 at the middle as shown in that diagram. Now the distance of that middle charge from the previous plus 2 charge is x by 2. By using the Pythagoras theorem, if I find the value of the distance between plus 4q charge and minus 4q charge as shown in the diagram, so that becomes, it is root 3 by 2 into x. Now that is the distance. Now dipole moment, what is dipole moment? It is the product of either of the charge and the distance of separation. Now either charge is 4q. So distance is 2a, that is equal to root 3x by 2. So therefore charge is 4q. Therefore dipole moment is charge multiplied by the distance of separation. 2a is the distance of separation and q is the charge, substituting the values. Now 2a is root 3x by 2 and charge is 4q. Therefore it becomes 2 into root 3 qx. So therefore a is the correct answer. Now what is the dipole direction of the dipole moment? We know that it is always from negative charge towards the positive charge. Move on to the next problem. The angle between the dipole moment and the electric field at any point on the equatorial line. Here they have is A 180 degree, B 0 degree, C 45 degree and D is 90 degree. Now here the dipole moment and the electric field at any point along the equatorial plane. Now let me show it by this simple diagram. Now we have a dipole, one is plus q charge and another one is minus q charge. They are separated they are at positions A and B. They are separated by a certain distance, that is 2a. Now the dipole moment is as shown in the diagram, that is from negative charge towards the positive charge. The direction of the dipole moment is from B to A as shown in the diagram. Now we have to consider any point on the equatorial line. What is an equatorial line? The plane which is perpendicular to the dipole axis and passing through the midpoint. That line represents the equatorial line. If you consider any point C on the equatorial line, and if you work out the direction of the electric field as shown in that diagram. Now due to positive charge at C, the electric field is upwards as shown in the diagram A. Due to the negative charge, the electric field is along CB as shown in the diagram. Then what is the resultant? So resultant is obvious. Since those two fields are equal, the resultant is the bisector as shown in the diagram E. Now look at the direction of E and P. They are exactly anti-parallel to each other. So that means the angle between them is 180 degree. So therefore A is the answer. Okay. Move on to the next problem. Pick out the statement which is incorrect. Now A negative test charge experiences a force opposite to the direction of the field. B, the tangent drawn to a line of force represents the direction of electric field. C, field lines never intersect. And D, the electric field lines form closed loops. Now here they have given the properties of electric field lines. In the case of negative charge, it always experiences a force in opposite direction to the electric field, that is correct. And according to the properties of the electric field lines, the tangent drawn always represents the direction of the electric field. And third one, it is also a property, field lines can never intersect. And fourth one is the field lines form a closed loop. No, it is wrong. The electric field lines can never form a closed loop. So therefore, the wrong statement here it is option D. The electric field lines form closed loop. Next problem. Two spheres carrying charges plus 6 microcoulomb and plus 9 microcoulomb separated by a distance d experiences a force of repulsion F. When a charge of minus 3 microcoulomb is given to both the spheres and kept at the same distance as before, the new force of repulsion between them. Option A, F by 3, B, F, C, F by 9, D, 3F. So here initially the two spheres are having the charges 6 microcoulomb and 9 microcoulomb. In the second case, minus 3 microcoulomb is added to both. Then in the second case, the charges becomes 6 minus 3, it is 3 microcoulomb, and 9 minus 3, it is 6 microcoulomb. So we have to independently separate for the two cases the electrostatic force. Now given first case, Q1 is equal to 6 microcoulomb, Q2 is equal to 9 microcoulomb. Therefore, the expression for the force would be force of repulsion between the two, F is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught, or we can write it as simply K. Value of K is 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. So Q1, Q2 by R square. Now substituting the values, F is equal to K into 6 into 10 to the minus 6 into 9 into 10 to the minus 6 divided by D square. 9 6 it is 54 into 10 to the minus 12 D square. You are not supposed to substitute the value of K because we are comparing the forces. Now what happens in the second case, as and when minus 3 microcoulomb charge is added, then Q1 becomes 6 minus 3, it is 3, and 9 minus 3, it is 6. Now the new force F dash is equal to K into Q1 Q2 divided by R square. So therefore F dash is equal to K into 3 6 it is 18 into 10 raised to minus 12 divided by d square. Now on the one before initial, in the first case, force is 54 and all other constants, and in the second case f dash is 18. So if you compare this one, f dash is lesser than f by 1/3. Therefore, the result is f dash is equal to f by 3. That is the answer. Next problem. A spherical conductor of radius 2 cm is uniformly charged with 3 nanocoulomb. What is the electric field at a distance of 3 cm from the center of the sphere? Now we have a sphere which is having a charge of 3 nanocoulomb. Now what is the electric field at 3 cm from that sphere? Now options are 3 into 10 to the power of 6 volt per meter, B 3 into 3 volt per meter, C 3 into 10 to the power of 4 volt per meter, and D 3 into 10 to the power of minus 4 volt per meter. A simple problem. Here they have given charge is equal to 3 nanocoulomb. Nano means you should remember 10 to the minus 9. The distance of the point from the center is 3 centimeter. If I write it in terms of meter, it is 3 into 10 to the power of minus 2 meter. We have to find electric field. Simple expression, electric field is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Now substitute the value of 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. It is 9 into 10 to the power of 9. Charge is 3 into 10 to the power of minus 9 divided by 3 into 10 to the power of minus 2 whole square. Now 3 square is 9, 9 get cancels. Therefore, we left with 3 into 10 to the power of plus 9 and minus 9 also get cancels. In the denominator, we have 3 into 10 to the power of minus 4. If I take it to the numerator, it becomes 3 into 10 to the power of plus 4 volt per meter. Therefore, C is the answer. 3 into 10 to the power of plus 4 volt per meter. Next problem. What is the nature of Gaussian surface involved in Gauss law of electrostatics? Nature of the Gaussian surface. Options are A is scalar, B it is an electrical, C it is magnetic, and D it is a vector. Now Gauss law, we are having Gauss law both in electrostatic as well as in magnetism also. So therefore B and C are not at all the answers. Only left with the scalar and the vector. While finding the flux, we have defined the flux as it is the dot product of field vector and the area vector. Therefore, since we have chosen area as a vector quantity while finding the flux, the Gaussian surface is also a vector in nature. The nature of the Gaussian surface is a vector quantity. So answer D is the answer. Move on to the next problem. Two equal and opposite charges of masses m1 and m2 are accelerated in an uniform electric field through the same distance. What is the ratio of their accelerations if their ratio of masses is 0.5? Options. So 0.5, A option 0.5, B 1, C 2, D 3. Now here two equal and opposite. If one is positive charge, another one is negative charge, they are accelerated by a uniform electric field. We know that positive charge moves away from the field direction, but negative charge moves towards the field direction. That means positive charge moves along the field direction, negative charge moves in opposite to the field direction. Since the field is uniform, so that means both the charges get experiences same force. So that means force should be the same. Now here given m1 by m2, ratio of the masses is given 0.5. We have to calculate what is the ratio of the acceleration. Since field is uniform, the two charges will experience equal and opposite forces. Therefore, F1 is equal to F2. That should be is equal to M1 A1 is equal to M2 A2. So from this one, A2 by A1 is equal to A1 by A2 is equal to M1 M2 divided by M1. Now M1 by M2 is, we know, 0.5, but M2 by M1 is 1 divided by 0.5. So that is equal to, therefore the ratio of the acceleration A1 by A2 is equal to 2, and hence the answer C is the right answer. Move on to the next problem. If a charge on a body is 1 nanocoulomb, then how many electrons are present on that body? They have given a charged body which is having a charge of 1 nanocoulomb. Now we have to calculate how many electrons are present, excess of electrons are present in that body. So options: 1.6 into 10 to the power of 19, 6.25 into 10 to the power of 9, B, C 6.25 into 10 to the power of 27, and D 6.25 into 10 to the power of 28. So given charge is given, Q is equal to 1 nanocoulomb, nano means it is 10 to the power of minus 9. The simple formula here is Q is equal to N into E formula. We have to calculate the number of electrons N, therefore N is equal to Q by E. Now substitute the values: 1 nano, it is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 9, divided by charge of the electron 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19. Now 1 by 1.6, we know it is 0.625 into 10 to the power of minus 9 and plus 19, it is 10 to the power of 10. Now if I write it in scientific notation, the charge becomes 6.25 into 10 to the power of 9 coulomb. Therefore B is the right answer. Move on to the next problem. An electric dipole placed in a non-uniform electric field experiences a theory part. It is A, only torque, B, only force, C, neither force nor torque, B, both force and torque. So in theory we have studied that a dipole placed in a non-uniform electric field, it experiences both torque as well as force. If the field is uniform, so then the force becomes 0, it only experiences torque. So therefore here the answer is D. So it experiences both force and torque. So simple theoretical question. Move on to the next problem. Two metal spheres of radii 0.01 meter and 0.02 meter are given a charge of 15 millicoulomb and 45 millicoulomb respectively. They are then connected by a wire. The final charge on the first sphere is, after connecting the wire, what is the final charge on the first sphere? It is dash into 10 to the power of minus 3 coulomb. That is options are 40, B is 30, C is 20, and D is 10. Now here two metal spheres are given. One is of radius 0.01 and the another one is of radius 0.02. So first one is charged with 15 millicoulomb and second one is charged with 45 millicoulomb. Now these two spheres are then connected by a conducting wire. Then charges obviously starts to flow from one sphere to the another sphere. Now up to what extent the charges will flow? Whenever the two spheres attains the same potential. Now this potential is a second chapter concept. With that concept we are going to solve this problem. The charges will flow from one sphere to the another sphere until the two spheres attains the same potential. Now we know the expression for the potential: V is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon into Q by R. Since V is charges will flow till the spheres attains the same potential. Now V is given by this formula. Here if V is constant, then charge is directly proportional to the radius of the sphere. For constant V, Q proportional to R. Therefore Q1 proportional to R1 and Q2 proportional to R2. If you take the ratio, Q1 by Q2 is equal to, you will get R1 by R2. Now R1 is given 0.01, R2 is given 0.02, therefore it is 1 by 2. Here the charges are so distributed in the ratio of 1:2. The first sphere is having 15 millicoulomb charge and second sphere is having 45. then what is the total charge of the system? It is 60. The total charge is 60. Now this 60 millicoulomb is going to be redistributed in the ratio of 1:2. So on that basis, the charge on the first sphere is 20 millicoulomb and the charge on the second sphere is 40 millicoulomb. Therefore, here the charge on the first sphere is C, 20 millicoulomb. So one thing here you should remember, the two spheres share the charges until the potential of the two spheres becomes the same. Next problem. Two charges Q and minus 2Q are separated by a distance T. If the electric intensity at the site of Q is E, then the electric field at the site of minus 2Q is answer A, E, B, E by 2, C, minus 2E, and D, minus E by 2. So here two charges are given, one is plus Q, another one is minus 2Q. They are separated by a distance D. The intensity at the site of plus Q charge. Now here, at the point at which the plus Q charge is present, the field is due to minus 2Q charge. We know the simple expression electric field is given by E is equal to K into Q by R square. Now at the site of positive charge, that is Q, the field is due to the negative charge. Therefore, E1 is equal to K into 2Q by D square. So 2Q, it is the charge, second charge. Therefore, it is given, it is equal to E. At the site of charge E, the field is capital E. At the site of charge Q, the field is capital E. That is, capital E is equal to K into 2Q by D square. Now, at the site of the negative charge, the electric field is given by E2 is equal to K into, here at the site of negative charge, that is minus 2Q, the field is due to only the plus Q charge. Therefore, charge is Q divided by D square. Now, comparing these two equations, so E is equal to K 2Q by D square, but here K E2 is equal to K into Q by D square. Therefore, it becomes E by 2, and hence B is the answer. So here one is positive charge and another one is negative charge. Both are having the same direction. Okay. Next problem. A positively charged particle is released from rest in a region of uniform electric field. The particle will move, options, with constant speed, with constant velocity, with constant acceleration, with variable acceleration. So we have a uniform field. What is the meaning of uniform field? The field is constant everywhere. A positive charge is released from rest. It is initially at rest, it is now just released. So obviously it experiences a force. That means it gets accelerated. It is accelerated with a constant acceleration. It experiences a force F is equal to m into A, so that is equal to Q into E. So since it is accelerating, it is with a constant acceleration. Therefore, C is the right answer. Next problem. Two identical conducting balls A and B have positive charges Q1 and Q2 respectively. The balls are brought together so that they touch each other and kept in their original position. The force between them is A 0, B same as that before the balls touch, C greater than that before the balls touch, D less than that before the balls touch. So here two identical balls are given, two conducting balls A and B. One is charged to Q1, Another one is charged to Q2. Initially they are separate. When they are separate, we have the expression for the force of repulsion between them is K into Q1 Q2 by R square. Now in the second case, those two balls are brought in contact. What happens? Sharing of charges takes place. Since the two balls are identical, the charges are equally distributed. On one sphere it is Q1 and the second sphere it is Q2. The total charge becomes Q1 plus Q2. Half of that one, that is Q1 plus Q2 divided by 2, is shared by the two spheres. So after contact and removed and placed with the original distance, now the new charge on the two spheres is Q1 plus Q2 by 2. Therefore, the new force is F dash is equal to K into Q1 plus Q2 by 2 into Q1 plus Q2 by 2 divided by distance is the same R square. We know that the product of two numbers is always less than the square of average of those two numbers. So that means if I have a number 2 and 3, 2 into 3 is 6. If I take the average, 2 plus 3 is equal to 5 divided by 2, it is 2.5. If I square it, it is 6.25. That means the product of two numbers is always less than the average, square of the average of those two numbers. And hence, F dash becomes here greater than F. Therefore, answer C is the correct, greater than before the balls touch. After touching, after the two balls are in contact, then the force becomes more larger. Next problem. Distance between the 2 point charges is increased by 20%. Force of interaction between the charges. We have an initial distance D or R. If it is increased by 20%, what will be the new force? Options. Increases by 10%, decreases by 20%, C increases by 20%, D decreases by 31%. Since the distance is increased, force should be decreased. Should remember, because force is inversely proportional to square of the distance. Take the first case. Now F is equal to K into Q1 Q2 by R square. They are separated by a distance. Now in the next case, the distance is increased by 20%. So 20% means it is therefore F proportional to R square. If the distance is, new distance is R dash is equal to, if I increase it by 20% means, in terms of R, it becomes 1.2 into R. If we have a 1 meter, if I increase it to 20%, it becomes 1.2 meter. In the same manner here, the new distance R dash becomes 1.2 into R. The charges will be the same. Therefore, the new force F dash is inversely proportional to R dash square. Now take the ratio of those two. Therefore, we will get F dash by F is equal to R square divided by R dash whole square. Now R dash is 1.2 R square. R square get cancels. 1 divided by 1.2 square. 1.2 square is 1.44. Now if you work out 1.44, it comes around 0.69. It comes around 1.69. Therefore, the new force becomes 0.69 times the initial force. Then how much it is, whether it is increased or decreased? It is decreased. How much it is decreased? 31% it is. Percentage decreased. Therefore, D is the right answer, decreases by 31%. Next problem. Two-point charges are 3 meters apart. Their combined charge is 8 microcoulomb. The force of repulsion between them is 0.012 Newton. Charges are option 4 microcoulomb and 4 microcoulomb, B 6 micro and 2 micro, C 5 microcoulomb, 3 microcoulomb, D 7 microcoulomb, 1 microcoulomb. Here 2 point charges are given. They are separated by a distance of 3 meter. The force of repulsion between them is given 0.012. The combined charge means their sum is given. Q1 plus Q2 is given, that is 8 microcoulomb. Now we have to calculate the individual charges. Now given R is 3 meter distance, force 0.012 Newton. Combined charge means Q1 plus Q2, it is 8 microcoulomb. What is Q1, what is Q2? By simply using the force formula, force is equal to K R 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by R square. Substituting the values, force is 0.012 is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught, it is 9 into 10 to the power of 9 into Q1 Q2 divided by distance is 3 square. Now 3 square becomes 9, therefore 9 get cancelled. Therefore 12 into 10 is to, in the left hand side, if I write it in with power raised, that is 12 into 10 to the power minus 3, that is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9. So 9 get cancels here. We left with Q1 Q2 is equal to 12 into 10 to the power of minus 12 coulomb square. Now here the combined charge Q1 plus Q2 is given. Sum of the two numbers, it is 8, and the product of those two numbers is 12. Obviously by inspection, the two numbers are 6 and 2. Therefore Q1 is equal to 6 microcoulomb and Q2 is equal to 2 microcoulomb is the answer. Therefore B is the right answer here. Move on to the next problem. If a charge Q is placed at the center of line joining the two charges capital Q such that the system is in equilibrium, then the value of small q charge is options A Q by 2, B minus Q by 2, C Q by 4 and D minus Q divided by 4. Now here the two equal charges are capital Q, capital Q. A small q charge is placed at the center of the line joining the two charges. The system is in here equilibrium. That means if you take any one charge, capital Q charge on one side, if I calculate the force due to the another capital Q charge and force due to the small q charge, the resultant force should be 0. Sum of those two forces should be 0. So that concept we are going to make use. Now let me calculate what is the force due to the end charges capital Q, capital Q. That is F1 is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q square by R square. Now the force due to a capital Q charge and the small q charge. Now small q is placed exactly at the midpoint. Therefore the distance becomes R by 2. Now 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught, one charge is capital Q, another one is small q divided by R by 2 whole square. Now simplifying that one, therefore their sum should be 0 because the resultant, the system is in equilibrium. F1 plus F2 is equal to 0. Now substituting the values, the 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught is common. If you take it out, get cancels. Therefore Q square by R square is equal to Q into capital Q into small q divided by R by 2 whole square. If I simplify this R by 2 whole square as R square and 4 goes to the numerator, that is the next step. Q square by R square is equal to 4 capital Q small q divided by R square. So R square in the denominator, it is common, get cancelled. Q, capital Q get cancels. We left with Q is equal to, capital Q is equal to 4 small q, therefore minus 4 small q. Therefore small q is equal to, small q charge q is equal to minus q divided by 4. So therefore D is the right answer. Next problem. If the electric flux entering and leaving the enclosed surface respectively is phi1 and phi2, phi1 is entering and phi2 is leaving, then the electric charge inside the surface will be, what is the charge? The answer is phi2 minus phi1 into epsilon naught, A answer. B, phi2 plus phi1 divided by epsilon naught. C, phi2 minus phi1 divided by epsilon naught. D, phi2 plus phi1 divided by epsilon. Now what is the net charge here? From Gauss law, flux phi is equal to q divided by epsilon naught. Now flux is the net flux. What is entering and what is leaving? It is leaving minus the entering. That means leaving is due to the positive charge. Therefore, leaving flux is, if we take plus, and entering charge is due to the negative charge. If I take it as minus. Therefore, phi 1 becomes minus and phi 2 becomes plus. Therefore, net flux is equal to F is equal to Q is equal to phi into epsilon naught. So net flux is phi 2 minus phi 1. Phi 2 is for leaving, it is positive. Phi 1 it is for entering, if I take it as negative. So therefore phi 2 minus phi 1 into epsilon naught. So A is the right answer.